Good morning, everyone. My name is Sai Chandra Reddy, register number 24BYD 0011, and today I will be presenting my research topic titled Rebirth versus Relativity. Can Science Explain Life Beyond and Time Beyond? This topic explores the relationship between two seemingly different ideas, the spiritual concept of rebirth and the scientific theory of relativity. To understand whether modern science can explain what lies beyond life and time. Through this presentation, I aim to combine perspectives from physics, neuroscience, and philosophy to examine how time, consciousness, and existence might connect in ways we are only beginning to understand. The concept of rebirth is one of humanity's oldest philosophical and spiritual ideas. The belief that life continues in another form after death. Meanwhile, relativity developed by Albert Einstein revolutionized modern physics by showing that space and time are interconnected and are not absolute. Both rebirth and relativity challenge our understanding of relativity and continuity. One questions the limits of life, while the other questions the limits of time. The objective of this research is to identify scientific explanations and experimental evidence that might help us understand the possibility of life or consciousness behind biological death and the flow of time beyond normal perception. Einstein's theory of relativity, proposed in the early 20th century, fundamentally changed how we perceive the universe. It demonstrated that time is not constant, but can slow down or speed up depending upon the observer's frame of reference. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, has been verified using atomic and quantum clocks that tick at different rates depending upon their motion and gravitational position. Relativity tells us that time and space form a single continent, spacetime, and that gravity can bend this fabric. These findings suggest that time may not move uniformly for all observers. This opens a philosophical and scientific question. If time can vary across the universe, could consciousness and existence itself persist in other time frames or dimensions, giving rise to what could be interpreted as rebirth or continuity beyond death? Traditionally, rebirth has been viewed through a spiritual lens, but in recent decades, science has been started exploring it through neuroscience, artificial intelligence, and cognitive science. The concept of continuity of consciousness, where memories, thoughts, and personality could theoretically be recorded or recreated, has become a topic of growing research. Projects in AI and neural preservation aim to achieve digital immortality through mind uploading and neural replication. Recent studies, such as those by Zhu and colleagues, have revealed that brain activity does not immediately cease at death. Instead, the brain experiences a sharp increase in organized electrical activity, indicating a transitional phase of consciousness. This suggests that the human mind may not end abruptly, but could experience a brief continuation, giving a scientific dimension to the concept of rebirth. During near death experiences, researchers have observed a surge in gamma oscillation, high frequency brain waves associated with perception, memory recall, and consciousness. These oscillations resemble patterns seen during vivid dreaming or deep meditation. Studies by Zhu, Mature, and others demonstrate that even as the body approaches death, the brain becomes highly synchronized. People who have survived near death experiences often report sensations of light, peace, or altered perception of time, while spirituality attributes this to the journey of the soul. Neuroscience interprets it as a neuropsychological transition, where the brain briefly operates in a hyperconscious state before ceasing activity. This evidence strengthens the argument that consciousness may have measurable properties that persist beyond clinical death. Quantum mechanics provides a new way to interpret time and consciousness. At the quantum scale, time does not flow smoothly, but it behaves probabilistically. Phenomena such as entanglement and the observer effect show that observation can alter physical outcomes, implying a deep connection between consciousness and physical reality. Experiments like quantum complementarity of clocks by Zhou and colleagues have demonstrated that even clocks in different quantum states measure time differently. Balsans and Bojwal further propose that time might emerge from geometric relationships between particles rather than existing independently. If both time and consciousness are emergent properties, it is possible that they influence each other, supporting the hypothesis that rebirth could occur as a re-emergence of consciousness in another temporal framework. As part of my project, I conducted a small survey to understand public perception of scientific rebirth and time travel. The majority of participants agreed that scientific rebirth might become possible in the future through advances in neuroscience, genetics, or AI. However, they also highlighted major obstacles such as ethical concerns, limited technology, lack of funding, and absence of conclusive evidence. When asked about time travel, participants expressed interest but remained skeptical, noting that while it is theoretically supported by relativity, it remains practically unachievable. Overall, the survey result shows that people are curious and open to scientific rebirth, but expect strong moral and empirical justification before accepting it as a reality. The scientific pursuit of rebirth and extended consciousness raises profound ethical and philosophical issues. If we manage to recreate human consciousness artificially, it challenges our definitions of identity, life, and morality. Questions arise such as would a recreated consciousness possess human rights? Would it be considered the same person or a new entity altogether? Science must advance responsibly, ensuring that technological innovation does not override ethical values. Furthermore, philosophers argue that the question is not merely whether we can do it, but whether we should. A responsible approach to this field requires collaboration between scientists, ethicists, and policymakers to ensure that advancements in respect human dignity and natural boundaries. These are the references which I used for my research paper. So the conclusion, in conclusion, both rebirth and relativity challenge the conventional limits of human understanding. Relativity redefines a perception of time, while neuroscience and quantum studies reshape our understanding of life and consciousness. Together, they suggest that both time and life might be cyclical, continuous, and interconnected rather than linear and finite. While there is still much to discover, scientists' exploration in these fields is gradually bridging the gap between spirituality and physics. Perhaps one day, through the integration of these perspectives, Science will not explain the universe, but also the mystery of existence beyond time itself. Thank you.